We go now virtually to the In My Own Words hotline where we pick up Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine, the man on the ground, the legend, scouting out, analyzing all of these young athletes coming to the Crimson Tide. Justin, my man, happy to have you in here, man. How you feeling?
Pretty good, Steven.
Happy to have Justin in here virtually on the phone lines right now. So, Justin, Crimson Tide, big news happened today. Ty Simpson from Tennessee, five-star quarterback in the 2022 class, has just given his verbal commitment here to the Crimson Tide. This is big for Bill O'Brien. This is his first big guy on the recruiting trail. O'Brien gets Simpson to give a verbal yes to Alabama. How, when you break down Simpson's tape, what stands out? What do you like about him? Talk to me about Ty Simpson.
Multiple things stand out. Of course, how exciting he is to watch. You are talking about a kid who is really comfortable when things break down, and he is able to use his feet to get out of trouble and deliver some great passes down the field. I think he has a great touch on this deep ball. Just a kid who knows how to get the ball into tight situations. I definitely like his ball placement. I also like the way that he hits the out route. I think he does that pretty effectively. The biggest question I have about his game is his deep ball in terms of it being a bit short at times. I noticed that he does not have the strongest of arms, but he is still an exciting player to watch. He's listed as a five-star quarterback on Touchdown Alabama's own independent recruiting rankings because of the angles that he is able to throw the football in. His ability to just run with the football in his hands and throw the football on the run is pretty impressive. You see him throwing the football from so many different angles, which is something I compare his game to Patrick Mahomes in a way. When you look at a kid who can just throw the ball from so many different angles, from so many different situations. So that's why I feel he is a five-star quarterback. But we do have a diamond rating at touchdownalabama.com. For him to get that diamond rating, I think he would definitely have to show me a little bit more when it comes to his deep ball. But this is another huge pickup for the Crimson Tide in the 2022 recruiting class. Nick Saban is always striving to add at least one quarterback in each recruiting class. Ty Simpson is a great pickup for the Tide, a huge win for Bill O'Brien. And it's great to have your quarterback in your recruiting class at this point early on, because it is going to be easier to recruit running backs and wide receivers with Ty Simpson in your 2022 recruiting class already.
Now, one thing that we both talked about before coming on here, Justin, is you brought up the name Patrick Mahomes, but also we both talked about this young man's game kind of also reminds us a little bit of Johnny Manziel in the sense of him being able to run around, extend plays, kind of like playing backyard football and just throwing the ball up, allowing his guys to make plays there on the outside or make plays down the field in space. Do you see more Johnny Manziel than Patrick Mahomes in Ty Simpson's game, or is it a clean mixture of both? Because we both have mentioned that he does kind of favor Manziel also.
Definitely have some similarities to Manziel, like we talked about when you just watch him play. It almost looks as if he is attempting to do that play that Johnny did against Alabama when he defeated Alabama in Tuscaloosa. It looks as if he's trying
Justin,
to do that.
Why you got to bring that thing up in my face right now?
It looks like he's trying to do that spin move and make a great play, and he does plays that are very similar to that play. So I definitely see some Johnny Manziel in Ty Simpson. But as I said, I just really see a little bit of Patrick Mahomes in terms of the ability to just throw the ball from different angles. There's a play in his junior highlight film where he is doing a play that is very similar to what Patrick Mahomes did in the Super Bowl when he was basically throwing the football when it looks as if he was throwing it off the ground. If you take a look at that play from Ty Simpson's junior highlight, you can see that he's going to the ground and he basically just flicks the football up in the air. And I think that is something that is really impressive about Ty Simpson as well.
If you are just tuning into the show on a Friday, we have virtually the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine, our own Justin Smith here on the line talking one Ty Simpson, the five-star quarterback from the state of Tennessee that Alabama got a verbal commitment of yes from for the 2022 recruiting class. Now, Justin, so where does Ty, given the fact if Ty does sign, if Simpson does sign in the 2022 class, given what's already on the roster with Bryce Young, Paul Tyson, and Jalen Milroe, how does Simpson fit in this loaded quarterback room that's going to be operated by Bill O'Brien. How does he fit here?
He fits right in, and it just shows how difficult and just how difficult in general it will be for these guys to get on the field. The Crimson Tide likes to load guys up at every position, and the quarterback looks to be no different at this point in time. I know a lot of people used to say that Alabama has a lot of game managers, but I don't think you're going to be able to say that in the future. Looking at Ty Simpson, Jalen Miro, and Bryce Young, and Paul Tyson is also a guy you have to pay attention to as well. So I definitely think it is going to be quite interesting to see how Alabama's quarterback room plays out in the future with all three of those guys who are expected to be on the Tide's roster as scholarship quarterbacks coming into next season, possibly being there. But when Ty Simpson officially enrolls at the University of Alabama, like I said on the process on yesterday before Ty Simpson committed to Alabama, he's going to have to fight. Nothing is going to be given to him, Jalen Miro or Bryce Young. The job is going to go to the best guy, and it's just going to be interesting with all of that talent in that loaded quarterback room, as you said.
Now, Justin, in your opinion here, because you've been doing this for quite some time here, so in your opinion, what has made Alabama attractive now to quarterbacks? Because as you said, there was at one point in time, Alabama was getting the five-star running backs, getting the five-star receivers, getting the five-star offensive linemen and defensive players, and they're still getting those guys. But there was once a time where getting that five-star quarterback, getting that attractive quarterback was so far out of Alabama's reach. But what has made Tuscaloosa now an attractive place where the quarterbacks are coming to?
It's a result of what Nick Saban has done with the Crimson Tide's offense, wanting to change it to adapt to the way that college football and football in general is played in today's game. Everyone wants to throw the football around. Nick Saban knew he had to adjust and adapt if the Alabama dynasty wanted to continue. And he has done a great job of getting the right offensive coordinators in Tuscaloosa. Looking at Steve Sarkisian, you saw him did it a couple of years before that when he brought in Lane Kiffin, but now it looks as if he's going to try to continue to do that in Tuscaloosa by bringing Bill O'Brien in as the Tide's new offensive coordinator. And just looking at what the Crimson Tide has done, not even last year, but over the last couple of years, even when Tua Tagovailoa was there, they throw the football all over the football field. And whenever I get an opportunity to talk with a guy who has an offer from the University of Alabama, they always talk about, especially wide receivers, they always talk about how explosive that offense is, how everyone gets an opportunity, how you get a chance to play all over the field, inside and outside. For example, the number one wide receiver in the 2023 recruiting class, and Brandon Ennis received an offer from the Tide last week, and he just could see himself in the Crimson Tide's offense, saying exactly the way that they use their wide receivers. Said he likes to play slot. He likes to play outside. He says that he sees Alabama wide receivers do that every Saturday. That's why he feels he will fit right in Tuscaloosa. So this is just a result of what Nick Saban has been able to do.
When you look at now Bill O'Brien here, Justin, how big of a move how big of a move is this for Coach O'Brien? He comes in replacing Steve Sarkisian, who operated the best offense not only in the Nick Saban era, but the best offense in the SEC this past season, a record of averaging 48.5 points per game. You replace Sarkisian with O'Brien. O'Brien already on the recruiting trail. He gets a five-star guy in Ty Simpson to commit for the 2022 class. How much momentum does this start for Bill O'Brien as he looks to prove to not only the coaching staff and the players, but also this fan base that he can recruit here?
This is big for him. Of course, he helped the Tide also get a verbal commitment from him at this point, and four-star tight end Elijah Brown. So when you look at Bill O'Brien, he is kind of on a roll on the recruiting trail for the Crimson Tide. But I think having Ty Simpson's commitment is huge because this is going to help them recruit wide receivers, help them recruit the state of Tennessee, I think, because unlike other years, the state of Tennessee is loaded in this 2022 recruiting class, and you have a verbal commitment from the top player in Ty Simpson. You now can go after players like Baron Brown, a four-star wide receiver out of Nashville, Tennessee. I had an opportunity to catch up with him at the Southern Express 7-on-7 tournament that I went to. Alabama's head coach Nick Saban compared him to Devontae Smith. So he's a kid that may look at Alabama even more now that they have a commitment from Ty Simpson. Cedric Miller is another wide receiver to also pay attention to. So it is definitely a lot of different athletes that you can pay attention to now that the Crimson Tide have their quarterback commit here in this 2022 recruiting class. And I think that's going to help Bill O'Brien on the recruiting trail.
He's Justin Smith, ladies and gentlemen, the scouting and recruiting analyst, the legend, the boots on the ground here for Touchdown Alabama Magazine, talking one Ty Simpson, the five-star quarterback from the state of Tennessee who has given his verbal commitment to the Crimson Tide for the 2022 class. Justin, happy to have you here. Appreciate you coming on to talk about Simpson, but talk about Alabama moving forward in this 2022 class, and also one Bill O'Brien. You stay safe out there, man. Be good.
Do the same, Steven.
Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.